Alright, today we're going to go over tarping box loads. We got a few topics to cover: strapping, fall protection, the rollout process, securing tarps, and removal and roll-up. For this demonstration, we'll be tarping a Lamb Weston load. The only real difference here is the number of straps, but we'll go over that in a few minutes. Throw your straps in a way that's comfortable to you. When you get it over, just make sure you get a half twist in your straps to avoid any vibrations from the wind. Typically, you'll throw all of your straps from one side. Go ahead and do that before you tighten any others down. When you're feeding in the strap, make sure you get a half twist in it again. Also, make sure you get the loose end secured underneath the strap before you ratchet it down to secure it in the wind. At this point, you are ready to start tarping. Ask a PCA employee to help you get the pallets on the load with a forklift. Tarps should never be handled with a forklift unless it is on a pallet. Trying to scoop tarps with a forklift will ruin them. It is your responsibility as a driver to ensure that pallets are used and secured with the load. Before climbing the stairs, you must put on fall protection equipment, including a hard hat. Use the extension pole on the stairs to reach the safety cable. Attach the cables to the hook on your harness and tighten the harness securely using all 3 buckles. Each trailer has 4 tarps, 2 for the pup and 2 for the main. You can start with either trailer, but always remember to roll out the back tarp first so the wind will not catch the tarp as you drive down the road. It's important that every driver roll tarps the same so that the orientation can be identified from on top of the trailer. Look for the part of the roll that is folded with no opening to the side. That will line up with the center of your load. Unhook the bungee and toss it down so it can be used to help secure the load and eventually be used to roll the tarp. On box loads, if you'll overhang the tarp about 6 inches at this point, it will help line things up later on. Grab the corner and throw it with a good whipping motion. Grab the next corner and throw it over the side. Once the sides are over, line up the reinforced corner of the tarp with the corner of your load. Pick up the tarp and stand on the boxes. Give yourself plenty of distance from the edge to avoid falling. On the back tarp, go ahead and throw the flap over the edge. Start lacing the tarps from the top as they are difficult to reach from the ground. Pull your corners around. Start lacing from the second grommet and tuck the corners so the wind doesn't catch it. Whenever possible, lace back and forth through every grommet. Lace from the top as far as you feel comfortable reaching down. On your last grommet, go ahead and tie a slip knot that can be done from the ground. Now you're ready for the front of the trailer. This process will be the same other than the front cover. One of the causes of damaged tarps is flapping in the wind. To minimize flapping in the wind, you will tarp the front of the trailer a little differently. Rather than throwing the front cover over at this point, you will lace the sides together in the front of the trailer first. Then, with the front cover over the sides, the wind will not get under the tarps. Bring the front cover to the edge and hang the rope over so that it can be reached from the ground. Once the tarps are rolled out and straightened from the top, you're ready to get down and start securing the tarps. We will start from the back of the trailer again. The back flap is underneath the side flaps on this side so that the wind doesn't catch anywhere on the tarp. All throughout the tie-down process, look for ways to eliminate wind from getting under the tarps. Box tarps overhang the load by design. Grab the corner of the back flap and fold it under. Run your rope through a higher grommet that will bring the tarp up high enough to expose the reflective tape and ratchets on the trailer, but not expose the product. Secure the back flap with your rope. Get as high as you can with the amount of rope you have to best secure the flap. To finish the corner, tie a cow hitch. Never tie a permanent knot in your rope. They can get caught between pallets and they will eventually tighten to the point they cannot be removed. To tie a cow hitch, loop around a hook and bring the rope over the top of your line. Then make another loop and place it over the hook so that both ends are exiting the loop from the middle. A cow hitch works great if you are ending your rope on a hook. If you need to end your rope on a grommet, you can use this slip knot. Tuck the middle of your rope behind your line and pull only the middle of the rope through your loop. Firm it up and lightly tuck the loose end through the loop you just created. These are the only knots you will ever need to secure your tarps. Practice them and ask for help if you don't understand how to tie or untie these knots. Once you've got one side of the flap secured, go ahead and secure the other side of the same flap. Use extra rope or your bungees to secure the bottom of the flap. Again, any wind that enters the tarp will beat this back flap to shreds. Now you can use the stairs or the tongue of the pup trailer to finish lacing the side flaps together. Catch as many grommets as your rope will allow. Tuck your corners and continue lacing the side flaps together all the way to the bottom of the load. After the back is secure, climb under the front tarp and secure the front corner of the back tarp. Again, fold up the tarp to reveal the reflective tape and your ratchets, but make sure the load is not exposed. Secure the front corners on both sides before you start lacing the middle, especially on windy days. Lace the sides firmly, but don't over-tighten the ropes as it will damage them. To demonstrate the front tarp, we're going to jump to the main trailer. Here you can start with the back corner of the front tarp. Fold it under like the other corners. Now come to the front corner and fold it under as well. Remember, on the front tarp, you left the front flap on top with the rope hanging down. On the front of the trailer, you will lace the sides together before bringing the front down. This will secure the tarps so wind does not get inside and shred them. Lace them side to side all the way down. Next, you can lace the sides. Again, make sure reflective tape and ratchets are visible, but protect the product. Now go to the front of the trailer and pull down the front flap. Fold under the overhang. Secure the flap as high as you possibly can. This is important so the tarp does not flap in the wind. Use extra rope or your bungees to secure the bottom of the front flap, as they can rip or even damage the glad hands on the trailer. Lamb Weston loads need a minimum of 6 straps per trailer, at least 3 under the tarps and 3 over the tarps. More straps are needed for smaller pallets. All other flatbed loads need a strap over every pallet and 2 straps over the first pallet of both trailers. All loads need a minimum of 3 straps over the tarps, 1 close to the front, 1 where the straps overlap, and 1 towards the back. After strapping your load, do 1 more walk around, looking for any areas that wind might get under the tarps. When you arrive at your destination, check in and park in a spot with enough room to safely remove your tarps. The removal process is critical. Never use or allow a forklift to pull tarps off a load. If you can't pull them off yourself, then they are caught on the boxes and they will rip. Dislodge them and try pulling them again. The easiest way to pull off tarps is to start at the flap and pull them off the front or the back of the trailer. Twist the tarp in your hand to get a good grip, and give a few good tugs. Once you get the far side mostly up on the top of the load, you can grab the side and pull it the rest of the way off. Spread the tarp out flat with the top up. Make sure your rope is gathered on the tarp and not on the ground. Fold the side and front flaps back to the corner of the seams. Grab either side and fold it to the middle of the tarp. Then fold the same side to the middle again. Do the same on the other side. These folds can be done with one person but may take a little longer. The straighter these folds, the tighter your tarps will roll, and the easier they will be to handle in the future. Once both sides are gathered to the middle, fold either side over to fold it in half. Then go to the back of the tarp and fold it 2/3 of the way to the front of the tarp. Roll the tarp from the back, keeping it straight and tight. When you get to the front, grab your bungee and place it under the front flap of the tarp so it is in place when it is rolled up. If you kept things tight, you should be able to stand your tarp on end, ready to be loaded onto the pallet. When you are returning to PCA, don't leave your tarps on the trailer. Pull in on the north side of the plant. If the doors are locked, you may need to walk around to get a PCA employee to unload your tarps. This concludes our tarping instructions. Remember, secure your tarps against wind and vibration to protect them and the load. Take pride in your tarps and your load. The more you practice, the more efficient you will get. If you have any questions about this video, please talk to your dispatcher and they can get you pointed in the right direction.